Hi friends, welcome to a brand new vlog of Judo Samaka. This is your host and those Judo.
So I have watched the movie Frankenstein, directed by Guillermo del Toro. The movie stars Oscar Isaac, miagoth, Christoph Waltz, Felix Kammerer, and it stars Jacob Elordi as Frankenstein's monster. Mary Shelley wrote this novel in 1818. The novel was titled as Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus. It had many references of the Bible and Milton's Paradise Lost, but Del Toro created his own version of Frankenstein, keeping alive the backbone of the main story intact. The main novel is set in the late 18th century, Germany and Switzerland, but Del Toro has shifted this movie forward by about 60 years to Victorian England. The gothic, horror, mystery, romantic novel has been perfectly captured by Del Toro. Since 1818, we have seen many adaptations of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, be it on stage or in movies or the graphic novel versions. And Del Toro has his own version, as I said earlier. It has inspirations from the 1931 Boris Karloff starrer movie or the stage version, or Kenneth Branagh's 1994's version. But again, this movie has some typical shots which are very common in a Del Toro project. In fact, in totality, this movie will sometime remind you of a poem. We all know that the novel is a tragic one. Even in Del Toro's movie, we see reference of Hamlet. Now talking about performances, everybody have performed so naturally. Sometimes you will feel emotional, sometimes you will feel sad. And a question will definitely arise in your mind. Who's the real monster? Is it the monster himself or Victor Frankenstein? And Oscar Isaac, Jacob, miagoth, Christoph Waltz, David Bradley, Lars Mikkelsen, Felix Kammerer. Everybody performed well, and this movie should have a worldwide theatrical release because it's not an OTT content type of movie. It needs a big release. The madness of Victor Frankenstein, the innocence of Frankenstein's monster, the purity in Elizabeth, everything has been captured so well. In fact, miagoth played the dual roles of Elizabeth and Victor's mother, Claire Frankenstein. Victor had a troubled childhood. His only source of inspiration was his mother, but his father was a strict person and he literally tortured Victor. Charles Dance played the role of Dr. Frankenstein. While Dr. Frankenstein Sr., he pampered his younger son, William. So that trouble in the childhood made Victor Frankenstein a kind of mad genius. The way he was tortured by his father reflected the same thing on him when he kind of tortured the monster. There are some scenes which may be disturbing for many. I personally feel this is one of Del Toro's best works. Unlike the way we have seen Frankenstein's monster mostly in movies as a green kind of creature, here we see a pale-skinned monster-like creature. And Jacob is a tall actor, standing as tall as 6 feet 5 inches. I also feel that Barney Wrightson's graphic novel representation of Frankenstein was a kind of inspiration for the look of monster in this movie. One or two scenes of this movie may remind you of Brendan Fraser's starrer movie, The Mummy. In fact, The Mummy, Frankenstein, Dracula, all these movies were part of Universal horror classic movies. In fact, Del Toro from his childhood was kind of obsessed with Boris Karloff's version of Frankenstein's monster. In fact, that movie, made in 1931, it showed the creation of the monster with the help of electricity, which Mary Shelley didn't mention. And it had that famous dialogue, "It's alive! Alive!" Now coming back to Netflix's Frankenstein, or should I say Del Toro's Frankenstein, there are references of the Bible, as I said earlier. This movie has also a kind of crucifixion kind of scene, and Victor Frankenstein, sees vision of the dark angel in his dreams. Also in the set we see the face of Medusa. The music created by Oscar winner Alexandre Desplat perfectly suits the mood of this movie. The cinematographer of this movie is Dan Lausten. The cinematography is marvelous. So is the editing of the movie by Evan Schiff. Del Toro wanted to make this movie since his childhood, and at last he has created it. But as I said earlier, this movie needed a much bigger theatrical release. In fact, the DC people, they should contact Del Toro to make at least one Batman movie. It may be an Elseworld movie or anything else involving Arkham Asylum. So this was my take on Frankenstein. Hope you have liked it.
Then do like, share, subscribe my channel, and also like and follow my Facebook page, Judos Dhamaka. I'll be back in the next episode with a new dose of entertainment, new dose of Dhamaka. Hasta la vista, Judos Dhamaka. Let's do the Dhamaka.